Hey guys, what's going on? Sadiq. Welcome to Experiences with Sadiq. Experiences with Sadiq is about all things real estate. A show where communication is key, advocating for the people's bliss, and knowledge, it's inspiring. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the show. And oh yeah, don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms. Whether you're buying or selling a home, I'm that guy. Let's go. Hey guys, what's going on? Sadiq. Welcome to Experiences with Sadiq. Today I have RIAR's 2020. Actually, RIAR means Rhode Island Association of Realtors. Just to let you know, I want to break it down a little bit. 2020 President Shannon Buss today. So I wanted to interview Shannon because I really wanted her to dive into the whole aspect of real estate, who she is, what she do, and what type of role she has been taking to help realtors and stuff like that. So Shannon, welcome to Experiences with Sadiq.
Thanks for having me.
She's so bubbly.
7 months ago, I was terrified of video, and here I am. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Was it 7 months ago? Was it like your first time doing videos, or?
No, I mean I had been forced to do that occasionally, but now it's a way of life.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
So I've become much more comfortable on camera.
Nice. How long have you been doing real estate for?
I will be licensed 16 years in January. I'll be 16 years old.
And you still looking young at 16?
I look 150, but I've been doing it for 16. So
she's funny. No, that's pretty cool. Now, did you start off doing real estate in Rhode Island? Are you from a different state? How did that?
No, I grew up on Cape Cod. Right. So my mom jokes that I will hop from one sandbar to the other. She calls me a wash ashore. She says, you'll wash up on any shore that will have you. And so I ended up here. No, I moved here when I was 17 years old. Nice. I went to Roger Williams University. I put myself through college, and I fell in love with Rhode Island, so I never left.
Nice. What did you study in college?
English literature with a minor in legal studies.
Interesting. So how did you make that transition from what you studied in college to diving into real estate?
So interesting. In my previous life, I had two positions that I actually worked two jobs at the same time. Right. One, I was a restaurant manager. Right. And the other, I was a paralegal for an estate attorney. And so I dealt with a lot of, elder care issues, but guardianships, probate, estate planning, Medicaid applications, and my boss, her husband was a realtor. Actually, I'm still in touch with them, and he was president of Fall River last year.
Okay.
So it's interesting, and I sort of watched, what he did and how he was brought into the process, and how he could help these families, in these really stressful situations. I never thought about real estate, but when I took my exit exams in college, one of my top 3 careers was real estate. And I remember looking at that going, what? Real estate? And here I am. But in my restaurant life, I was 7 months pregnant with my first child, my daughter, and I was, working 13-hour shifts, and it was the middle of winter one night, and we're standing in this restaurant in Newport, and my bus boy had his real estate license, and he said to me, you can't work in restaurants with kids waking up all night, and, what are you gonna do? I said, I don't know. He goes, you'd be an awesome realtor. And 2 days later, I was in real estate school, and it was the very tail end of a hot market, which lasted about this long. So I learned in the worst market of all time how to build a business.
So that worst market was 2008?
Correct.
2008.
Correct. But, I didn't know any better. Yeah. So to me, it was just, okay, it's time to build a career and, go out and help people.
What would you say was some of your biggest challenges coming into the industry at that point in time, where it was tough and the market was crashing?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm an educator too, so I instruct a lot of real estate agents. I think looking back, I did have training. I didn't have relationships in the business, and as we know, my whole life operates on my relationships. So I think it's always really good to have someone that you can just kind of peel the onion with. And, what's a day in the life look like? What does your first year look like in the business? What does this process look like? I mean, is there a balance?
Totally get
All
it.
of these things, and you're never going to find that online, right? And so I think having some relationships and being able to just network with some people in the business is always really helpful.
I think that's one of the things that I've learned coming into this business was basically, actually, when I came into this business, I didn't really have a relationship or what we call in the industry sphere. Right, I didn't know where to start. I didn't even know how to begin. I was totally lost because I came from. A lot of people know my story. I came from the automotive industry, and I
grew up in the automobile industry.
So all right, so we pretty much have like a common interest then.
Yeah.
All right, so we pretty much have the same background. So going from the automotive industry into the real estate industry to me was a totally different transition.
Yeah.
So I totally understand, like, when you came in, you didn't have a relationship and you had to establish that.
Right.
And that was the same thing that I did coming into this industry, was trying to figure out a way, how can I establish relationships along the way and continue on and moving forward and build my book of business. Did you have a mentor when you dived into when you were in the real estate industry? No. So
I had what it felt like was I had an empty desk, a 10,000-pound phone, and a pat on the back, right? Like, good luck, we hope you do well. And I'm looking around going, is anyone gonna show me what to do, right?
Yep.
And it was a busy time. And so people were flying around doing deals, and I was just like, I would just spend as much time at the office as I could, and I would just study the people that I thought I wanted to be like, and success, we all define success differently. For some people, it's a paycheck. For some of us, we're in it to make a difference. And, you got to make money too. But I aligned myself with people who had similar core values. And I would study what they did, and I would do anything they told me to do, right? There was no piece of advice that I wouldn't take. So that's kind of how I learned. And I just showed up for every class in sight. I mean, if I knew about it, I was in that seat, and I just couldn't get exposed to enough stuff. I was like a sponge.
And I think that's what most people need to realize, that when you come into the real estate industry, it's good to build relationship, good to have a mentor if you can have a mentor, but if you have a driving force that's embedded in you, and you can hone that driving force that's in you to be able to take the initial steps to learn, to educate yourself, I think you'll see the fruit of your own labor prosper. Am I wrong or right?
No, you're absolutely right.
And I think a lot of people need to realize that's what it takes. In this industry, we work hard because we're here to feed our family. We're here for a purpose, and that's to provide the value and educate the clients that we're dealing with. So to us, is building this business is a crucial point in our journey to success in this industry. I know, if I'm correct, is this your last year?
It's never my last year.
As the president, though?
As the president. We have 1-year terms.
Wow.
Yeah. So I will be uninstalled, I guess, in about 2 weeks. Not that I'm counting the days.
That sucks.
Yeah, but I don't disappear, right? I mean, there's plenty of work to be done. I'll serve as like an advisor, as immediate past president. And I'll be doing some other work along the way. I just won't be wearing the pin.
Was it hard? Like, all right, so you're still a realtor.
I am.
And you're president.
Yes.
Now, in the beginning, right before you're about to become president, was it hard to transition even though you're still a realtor, but to transition from a realtor to a presidential position?
That's a really good question. For me, I don't think it was that difficult because I've been in volunteer roles for over a decade. So I've held regional positions where I've traveled all over New England, in leadership roles. So I was ready. I was ready. I was really excited.
She's like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm ready to lead.
I mean, I had been preparing for this my whole life. I'm gonna
This is
be
the
president.
journey that she's been waiting for.
Yes, and and of course we had big plans that everything shifted, and we accomplished so much more than we ever thought we would this year originally, which is really exciting, and that makes me so proud. When everything hit the fan, we stepped on the gas.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
This year we had a lot going on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Between COVID, economic situations, different things. A lot has been going on. So let's talk about the different type of implementations that you put out there to help Rhode Island realtors. What type of things have you done this year to help individuals like myself and other realtors?
Sure. Immediately, I've been fortunate that, I've served in national capacities. So I have built relationships all across the country, even globally, with realtors. And so when this happened, nobody had the answers, right? We were just sort of in shock initially, like, wow, is this really happening? Yeah. And no one's ever gone through something like this before. We had an economic crisis. We never had a health crisis, right? In our lifetimes, anyhow. So again, going back to relationships, I was on the phone, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Oh, man.
Because you've got, if I'm talking to someone in California, they're 3 hours behind me.
Yeah,
That was
I
got an extra 3 hours of work. That's how I looked at it.
That's definitely
I
true.
couldn't make enough phone calls, and and our staff was the same, our leadership team. We were just reaching out to anyone and everything, saying what conversations do we need to be having? What should we be looking at? What are you doing where you are, and whatnot. And so thankfully, I'm very close with the state president in Washington State. Now, Seattle was one of the first heavy hit cities, so I had a big resource there. And so that's kind of how we started. And Rhode Island, I'm very proud to say, was one of the first states to roll out communications to our members. So there really was no hesitation. I mean, there was a lot of work in the background, but our members immediately started getting solutions. We set up a page on our website, a landing page really, that, if they put in rirealtors.org/COVID-19, it said, here's what you need to know to service your clients. Here's what you need to know in terms of, what the governor is rolling out. Here's what you should be doing to promote your listings. Here's what you need to do for safety. We want to keep our buyers and sellers safe. We also needed to keep our members safe. We also have a staff of 27 that, we have this establishment here. We had to figure out how daily operations were going to go. So we had this website, which was a great resource. It also had, chat features. So our 6,000 members could chime in at any time and say, hey, you should be looking at this, or I came across this in the field today. They had a direct line to all of us with our cell phones at any time. I had a lot of conversations with people that I had never met before. And I think that that's awesome, right? Like, wow, because sometimes you think you don't know where your reach is until something like this happens. And so for these members to pick up the phone and call me, I was like, good, you know where to go. That's so awesome. And you feel like, God, we did it right. And so we have a lot of industry relationships with the governor's office, the licensing board. We were in the middle of renewing our licenses when all this happened. So how do we deliver education so that our members can renew? And holy moly, I mean, it was like drinking from a fire hose. It was a lot. and you don't think. Immediately it was, can we practice? Are we essential? How do we be safe? And then it was, oh my gosh, how do we do closings? Can we record deeds? How do appraisals get done? I mean, it was so layered, right? And thankfully, we had all those relationships.
It's crazy because, like, you guys did a great job implementing things that us realtors need to do during our process as realtors, whether it's listings, dealing with buyers, whatever the case may be. You guys, all the system that you guys put in place was put in place not only to help the realtors, which is obviously your number one, but I think to top it up was to help the clients,
the
consumers. That topped everything. And I think about you guys executing plans after plans and after plans and maneuvering around just to try to figure out ways to make sure everybody is safe. I think you guys did a great job with that. It was a phenomenal job by you guys all the way in and out.
I mean, when it started, our initial concern was, how do we deal with this pipeline of business that's pending, right? People are under contract. We had a good percentage of people that had to move here for all different reasons, right? And so it wasn't like they were browsing and, this was a luxury that they were out shopping for a second home, or this was, these people were going to be homeless if we didn't bring them solutions. So it was really great. I'm really proud of the way that we were able to deliver all of that. And believe me, it was a Herculean effort with staff and volunteer leaders coming together. And then with all of the industry partners, just having everyone at the table. I mean, Zoom saved us.
I think Zoom saved a lot of people.
Can you imagine if you had told me this time last year that this is what my life would look like? But truly, I mean, because we were able to have that face-to-face conversation, real important conversations too.
Still kept the ball rolling.
Yeah, and how do we make this happen for our people? And by people, I mean the buyers and the sellers, because that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Kudos, Pound. That's COVID safety, by the way. Pound, no shaking, Pound. More and more women are becoming realtors, right?
Yes.
What challenges, if any, do you believe they will continuously face in this industry?
Oh gosh, I think we, so I have a big background with the Women's Council of Realtors. I don't know if you knew that about me. That's how I came into leadership. That's sort of where I was born and bred. And I've served on every level of their organization. And what's behind the Women's Council was started by a man.
Interesting.
An NAR president out of California many moons ago to support females in real estate. And so we have a lot of men that are members and, it's a mix, but it's about supporting women in real estate. And, I think that we all face all the same challenges. I truly do. I mean, I really, in my heart of hearts, I like to think that it's a level playing field.
Interesting.
And that's just how I work. I wake up every day and I work like everybody else, and I guess I forget sometimes that it was it was a bigger challenge than I think it is today. But, we have a lot of female brokers opening their own offices.
There's a lot of powerhouse women out there.
You look at our incoming leadership team, and it's, not by design, by vote, but majority are female leaders, which is really exciting, and I think that it should always come down to who's the most qualified. Who's the most qualified to do the job? Who, has their heart in the right place? And, whether that's a male or a female, to me, it doesn't matter. It needs to just, as long as it's the right person.
And who can get the job done.
That's it. Yeah. Keep your promises, work hard, and do the right thing. Yeah. And so for me, that's what it's about.
I totally respect that.
I support you. If you stand for all three of those things, I don't care if you're a male or a female, you have my vote.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For those looking to join the board of Rhode Island Association of Realtors, because obviously you are stepping down, and there might be people that might be interested. You probably have.
I'm not stepping down. I'm getting thrown out.
So there might be. Do you guys have somebody else coming in?
We do
already.
Leanne DeTore is behind me.
Congratulations, Leanne DeTore.
She's awesome. She's actually our youngest president to ever be installed.
Interesting.
At
Even more of a congratulations.
Absolutely. I've been working with Leanne for at least 10 years in all different capacities and leadership. You know, you guys are in for a treat. She's an awesome person, really kind person, and smart. You know, she brings a lot to the table. She's got an awesome leadership team behind her. So I know that, you know, she's going to take everything that we did this year and she's going to make it better.
Nice.
You know, and that's the goal always, is to just be a work in progress and always be working on that next thing. But she owns her own brokerage, and you know, what else can I say? I'll add this. I had no idea what I was signing up for when I got installed last year. No idea. And, you know, she's taking the lectern, you know, and taking an oath this year, knowing it's going to be a real hard year. And to me, that's a different type of leader.
Are you ready to pass that baton to her?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we all need to take a turn, right? And that is the sign of a healthy organization. Yeah. So I've done my work this year. I'll continue to do work. I just won't be the face of the organization.
We're gonna miss you. What steps do those that want to join the board? What steps should they take, and what benefits or value can they gain if they join the board? Okay, so if they want to join the board,
I mean, I could go on for hours about the benefits, right?
What value?
We all come from different spaces and places, so every brokerage looks different, every office looks different. We all bring different talents to the table, right? Our board of realtors, for me, has always been like our safe space, right? Where we can all come from different walks of life and different offices, whether you're a boutique or you're, you know, a big brand, and you can sit at that table at the board of realtors and learn from your peers, right? Everyone has something to share. It's a safe space where our sole purpose is to come out of there and be better engaged, but also better equipped to service our buyers and sellers, right? So for me, it's always, you know, a great place to meet people in the industry, to get my education, to learn about all the awesome things that are happening even outside of Rhode Island. You know, like how are we advocating for home ownership?
That's very important.
That's huge, and that all happens at the Board of Realtors, right? Nice. You know, one huge thing this year, you know, if anyone were to ever ask me, what do I get for my realtor dues? Please, I'll give you my cell phone. They'll be sorry. You know, this year, independent contractors, for the first time in history, were able to collect unemployment when the pandemic hit.
Interesting.
You know, because we have people advocating for us. In Washington, here on the Hill, right here in this building. And so those are some of the things, you know, your average realtor, unless they show up and get involved and they're part of these conversations, they don't realize the reach that those dollars have, you know. So
no, that's pretty cool. Like,
so we don't just advocate for buyers and sellers. We advocate for our people.
For the people. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think that's amazing in regards to what you guys bring to the table at RIAR, and also just the achievements that you guys. I think this year alone, like the achievement to me was just through the roof. And I respect that.
Feels that way.
It doesn't even feel, I know. And I truly appreciate that. And I think everybody else in the real estate industry in Rhode Island definitely appreciates that tremendously. And definitely a hand of applause to you and the team.
Thanks.
You're definitely welcome. Wrap-up question.
Okay.
How do you perceive success?
By the smiles on their faces.
Interesting.
You know, last week, in the same day, I was searching for 2 different buyer clients. One was looking for a $120,000 house and one was looking for a $2 million house. And, you know, the process for either one of those is equally as exciting to me. Here's a little secret. Most people don't even know this about me.
You can't tell them. You gotta tell what's going on right here.
I'm right now in the process of getting ready to buy my first home.
What?
My legal first home. I know, and of course there's a backstory to that, right? But I've technically never had my name on the deed of a property. I've had mortgages. I've never been a homeowner. So for me, you know.
Especially you being in real estate.
Yeah. And involved in all these facets of, you know, so I'm living it with my clients, right? And this has been something, you know, as a single mom, as a woman, as, you know, it's the biggest achievement that I will ever, I can't imagine anything else making me feel as proud as I will feel when I put the key in the door to my own home.
Congratulations.
Right? And so for me, it's never about a dollar amount. It's about the experience, and it's about, everyone has different goals. The goals look different, but home ownership should be available to everybody, right? And I wake up every day, and that's what I work for, is so that everyone can feel that way too.
Definitely.
You know, so.
That's amazing. Shannon, do me a favor, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Let the people know how they can reach out to you.
Yes.
If they have any questions, anything like that, talk to them.
Okay. You can Google me and my website will come up. My contact information is everywhere. I always make myself available for questions. I've talked to lots of members of the public this year. I've talked to lots and lots of realtors. I'm always happy to have a conversation, and if I can be a resource of any kind, I will always make myself available. My cell phone is 401-714-7056. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me, sbuss@randallrealtors.com. And if all else fails, you can call the Board of Realtors, and they absolutely know where to find me.
Where communication is key, advocating for the people's bliss, and knowledge, it's inspiring. Until next time, catch me on all my social media platforms on Experiences with Sadiq, Instagram or Facebook. Talk to you guys soon. Cut that small.